Oh no.
So 6801 Hollywood Boulevard.
We're saying there's no sound.
No sound?
Come on. Fuck, man. Dude, I never had this problem.
Suspect 7800 South Figueroa Street.
No, they can hear. They can hear. You guys can hear, right? Alright. I think it just wasn't starting in the beginning. Yeah, they can hear.
You can hear them? Or you just see that?
Nah, we just see the comments. You gotta go to the comments. So right here, I'll put the comments right here. Or if you want to check on your phone, you can just go to YouTube. Type in AXN News and the stream should pop
link,
up.
Right? That link you sent me?
Yeah. And you could go to the live part.
Family dispute 11209 South Main Street. Female Hispanic life blue sweater.
Yeah, go to the live thing. It should be like that one. Skip the commercial or lower the volume. You can skip it. Skip it. And right there, that's the chat. You can hit, just probably lower the volume. You can hit all messages right there. There you go. So you can read the messages. Alright, everyone, let's reintroduce since the sound was off. This is Ruben.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Rueben Palomares, former LAPD Rampart crash officer.
He's a former LAPD cop that got into some trouble, served his time, and is out trying to do some big things. So if you guys could subscribe to his channel, the link's in the title. It's Redeemed Warrior 91. He's trying to build up his YouTube channel. So if you guys could help him, Redeemed Warrior 91. And hopefully Jessica can put the links in the chat tonight. If not, I will. See, someone knows. They already heard your story.
They're requesting you to meet inside. The entry code is going to be 7314.
We're downtown. We're going to be looking for calls. And this is really our first ride-along with someone I don't really know, so it's gonna be our first interview type thing.
You haven't checked out the story either, huh?
The what?
You haven't seen the story yet?
Which one?
Mine.
Your story?
Yeah.
I know some of it from the interview. I found this dude through an interview of a guy named, it's a podcast named Ruben Radio, Tony Visions. If you guys want to check that channel out too. It's a Ruben Radio on YouTube. Tony.
Let
me get the chat in here again. Oh yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm trying to raise money, so we can share it with Ruben so he can invest into his channel and what he's trying to do. He's trying to, you're trying to build like a channel for mental health care, right?
Yeah, to help people with mental health.
For former cops or everyone, really.
Everyone.
Right? But especially for cops, right? Current and former cops.
First responders and different backgrounds. I think everybody struggles. Not everybody's seeking help.
Mm-hmm. So if you have questions, like towards the end or something, send them through a super chat. And then
DPS is going to be in unit 112.
If you can, send them through a super chat, and I'm going to give them the super chat money. Oops.
Somebody asked if I have a book. I have a testimony book. I should have brought one to you. I messed up.
You do have a book?
I have one for you. Yeah, I should have brought it. I forgot it. It's my short testimony book. I should have.
What's it called?
It's let me get it for you.
Is it like on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, yeah.
You found evidence at 301.
So they can buy your book on Amazon?
Yeah, it's a testimony book. It's got a prayer in the back. A lot of people have read the prayer, and things have happened. Positive things. I kind of messed up for not bringing it.
Oh, it's all good.
I'll give it to you on the way home when I get to my house.
Just tell me what it's called so people can look it up.
I'll just tell you right now.
See, we got a subscriber. Thank you, Diana. Yeah, it's called it should be in the title. Let me know if that link's not good. If not, I'm gonna put it in the title. There's a Redeemed Warrior. Copy link. Let me put it in the chat and pin it so you guys can go. You should be able to hit the @ in the title and it will go straight to the channel. It worked? So the one in the top is working, right? All right, thank you. Marley, Ashley. Thanks for subscribing. Here's the link right there.
Female mental illness 727 South Ardmore Avenue, apartment 502. Subject is
Also,
female,
you have an
41,
Instagram,
42
right?
years,
That's
white striped
I got the link for that
black
too.
shirt.
Yeah.
Suffers from bipolar, not taking medication in 2 months. It's code 24029 and RD 2034.
The Instagram is other_level_coaching.
And the name for that reason is because I teach martial arts and fitness and mental health together. So people get a little bit of everything. They get the balance, they get the fitness, martial arts, and they get counseling when they need it. Those that are looking for it.
So yeah, I put the link right there. Instagram other_level_coaching. Right? Other_level_coaching. Instagram.
The wing stop vehicle taken is a white Ford 4-door. I don't license plate.
If you guys think the scanner thing is too loud, let us know. We'll lower it.
Rampart units.
Yeah, see, we got some subs. Let's see if we can get to 500 subs today. Okay, so you want to tell us about your story, man? It's your night, bro. Tell us like where you grew up.
I grew up in LA. My parents came from Mexico when I was about 1 year old, and we grew up in. We came to and stayed there for about till I was 6 years old, and then we moved to Huntington Park, and then from Huntington Park I pretty much went to elementary, junior high, and high school in Huntington Park. I grew up with 10 brothers and sisters, and my mom, my stepdad. My stepdad had a drinking problem, and he was someone that struggled with a lot of alcoholism and, normal things that come with alcoholism, anger, violence, and the list.
Your stepdad. Yeah.
Stepdad, and
So your family was mixed? It was
just
like your stepbrothers and
I had
and
8
your...
stepbrothers,
Okay.
and my brother and myself. I didn't know he was my stepdad until I was 17 years old. So since I was a child, I thought he was my real dad. I found out he was my stepdad at 17. But I started boxing since I was like 12.
With all your brothers, right? You had 8 brothers. So.
I on my own, I grew up in an environment where there was always like just violence and stuff, and I was brought up by uncles that were pretty crazy, and these uncles in South Central kind of ingrained in the frame of mind of being tough and not letting people push you around. So I never put up with dummies and stuff.
Yeah.
So I knew that if I'm gonna get into street fights, if I'm gonna get jumped, or I'm gonna get into fights, I better know how to fight. So I started learning how to box at a young age. But through the process of learning how to box, I started liking boxing a lot. And in 1984, I grew up with a guy who went to the 1984 Olympics. He won the gold medal. Paul Gonzalez came back from the 1984 Olympics. He won the medal. So I got very inspired by that, thinking, you know what, I can win the gold medal too.
Were you trained by him?
You
knew him?
I sparred with him. I sparred with him. His trainer was my trainer. Stanky, Memoriola, all these guys I grew up around, they were all trainers and boxers. And Al Stanky was a trainer, and so was Memoriola. They were my coaches. But Paul Gonzalez was a fighter in the same team that I grew up in. And he had just came back from the Olympics in '84. And Al Stanky is the one that took him to the Olympics. And he was in East LA. The gym was in East LA, Hollenbeck UC on First Street. And I started training there, and then I fell in love with boxing. I got into it. I really got good at it, and I started competing in the Golden Gloves at 15, 16 years old. I fought the Golden Gloves. I won bunch of tournaments, diamond belt tournament. Just started winning tournaments, and I started pursuing the 1988 Olympics because I was winning these tournaments. I got confident I could probably.
How old are you in '88?
At that time I was 8. No, I was 17 in '87. I was going to go to the 88 Olympic trial for the 88 Olympic trials. I was going to a tournament in '87 that would have got me to the trials or box offs, and they threw me out of the team because I wasn't a citizen yet.
Oh, you weren't a U.S. citizen?
Not yet, not that time. So that kind of put a dent in my program for a minute. So I ended up going through the whole process, getting my citizenship.
Yeah.
And I told myself.
Did you not know you were a citizen?
I know it wasn't, but I was fighting for the USA boxing team since I was a kid. And in 1986, they let me fight against the Mexican Olympic team, represent the United States.
Oh, wow.
So I was like...
So they never looked into it or anything?
No, they never looked into it. They never told me nothing. I wasn't aware that I needed to be a citizen. I grew up in the United States pretty much. So
but you always knew you were born in Mexico?
Yeah, I knew I was born in Mexico. I already had my residency, my permanent residency. I did have my permanent residency.
Oh, okay.
So I had my paperwork on at least permanent residency.
Yeah.
I didn't know they wanted me to be a citizen. So in 87, 88, I started getting my paperwork ready. So I started getting ready for the 92 Olympics. So I started fighting competition again, getting ranked again, and building my status, my name. I started sparring with people like De La Hoya, Shane Mosley before the Olympics trials. But in 91, before the trials, I broke my thumb. I got injured. I got sick, and that messed up my program to try to go to the tryouts. So then that pissed me off. So I was bummed. That was a bummer. So instead of pursuing boxing after that, I decided to follow my next goal, which was to be a police officer for LAPD. And I grew up. Stanky was a police officer for LAPD, so he was our mentor. So to me, I liked the way he worked with us as kids in the neighborhood. So I said, well, you know what? I could do the same thing. I could be a mentor for these youngsters out here.
Hey, Josie, thank you for that super chat. Sorry, I got to thank these people.
It's all right. As a role model, I could be a good role model, coach, cop, whatever. So I joined LAPD in 1992. I went through the process.
How old are you then?
I'm 22.
So you had already gave up like on boxing?
Well, I gave up on boxing because I knew I couldn't make the trials. I was injured. I broke my thumb before the trials, so it was too late for me to go to the Olympic box office to go to the 92 Olympic trials. So I said, pretty much, forget about this boxing for now. I'm just gonna go for my next career is a police department.
Yeah.
So I went through the whole process. I took the written test. I took every test that you have to take before you get hired. The background, everything. I qualified. I got hired, and in '93 I was in the academy. 1993 I'm in the police academy for 7 months. I'm training to be a cop, and now you go through the whole academy process, which is schools, laws, shooting, everything. They're teaching you everything in the academy for 7 months, and then next thing you know, I graduate, and I get assigned to South Central Division, which is South East Division they call it, but it's South Central. And I'm assigned.
That's where you started.
That's where I started. I started patrol night shift, working the projects over in South Central. So I'm there for a few months, and then while there, I get recruited to work the undercover high school program, which is like, have you ever heard of the 21 Jump Street?
My friend got arrested in that in high school. Undercover.
I worked that unit.
What school did you work in?
Verdugo Hills.
Verdugo Hills, okay.
And manual arts.
That's before you actually became like a street cop. They put you straight into the undercover thing because you were young, right?
I was young. I looked young.
You could pass as a
I could still pass as a high school student. Yeah. I was 23 by this time, and I still look like an 11th grader.
Yeah.
According to them. So I got trained to be a narcotics undercover cop. I went to the whole program to be an undercover cop, and then they assigned me to a high school. So now I'm in high school, and while I'm in high school, I'm basically a student, 11th grader.
Yeah.
And I'm finding out who's selling drugs. I'm buying drugs. I'm ditching parties. I'm going to ditching parties.
So you're like a student, right? You go to all the classes too?
Yeah, I go to the classes, and I play the role. But I'm a little rebel. I have to act like a little rebel so I can fit in, so I can get people's attention, so I could get the dope. Because my job is to buy drugs or buy guns. See who's selling guns in school or dope.
I remember the undercover at our school who drove like an El Camino on IROC, so he was all the cool guy. You know what I mean?
I had a Mustang, 57 Mustang. Shelby, like a 60.
Yeah. Who gave it to you? The police department?
The police department's undercover car, yeah.
They give you like the coolest car to impress the kids, right?
The first car they gave me was a nasty LTD, big ass boat, ugly car. But that one I could fit like 10 kids when we ditched.
Yeah.
So that's the car they gave me, and then so here I am buying drugs. And some kids start getting comfortable with me, so they start introducing me to other friends with drugs and weed, coke. Most of the time I was buying weed or coke, even mushroom. And then eventually some kid hit me up and told me he was gonna sell me some PCP, but he didn't have it that day. He told me I'll text you, page you, because remember in the 90s they don't know no phones. It was all pagers and payphones. So I don't know if people know about that stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, they know. A lot of people here are older.
Pagers and payphones back in the 90s. So
was your goal to like gather all the info and then they would bust everyone at once? No?
Yeah, it's like a few months project. You're working, you're getting information on the guy you bought, because you're not going to know anything about the person you buy right away. You have to first you sell the dope, and then you could say, okay, guy with the black hat, that's the guy that sold me the $20 of coke or whatever. And then next thing you know, you got to find out what class he's in. Oh, he's in class this class. So then you got to put it on your detective list, everything about the person. Eventually, you round them all up. One day they just call everybody to the auditorium and they book everybody. It's like a freaking shocker. It kind of
no, that happened. Yeah. And I remember we were walking. He was like, "Hey, what's your last name, bro?" He asked my friend, and I thought that was weird as shit. Even some other kid that were more street smart, they're like, "Bro, this was asking for a last name. I've never heard anybody ask anybody for their last name." You know?
Yeah.
Some new friend, and he got caught up in, but it was just weed. But
it was nothing, right? A slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still had
probation. Time was a waste of time for us because.
You think it was just?
I think it was just a waste of time.
Were they trying to get to the main dealers, or what do you think?
Yeah.
Was they trying to do? Were they just trying to do it for the media so they can say like, "Hey, we're cleaning up the schools of drugs and stuff"? Or?
Pretty much. I got a shout out. Oh my girl.
Is she watching?
Yeah.
You're good. Is the volume okay? If you need a Ruben to speak up a little bit, let us know.
Yeah, I need to buy a mic.
No, just because it's the phone mic, so it's
okay. So I think the program. Well, I think the program's a waste of time because you're putting a cop at risk for something that's really not beneficial. Not doing too much or deterring. It's not going to really deter the kids. They're still going to get dope. They're still going to buy dope. It didn't save anybody's life. So anyway, once I'm in that program, the guy's gonna sell me some PCP. I go arrange it with him for him to page me. The same night when he tells me how much he's gonna have for the next day.
Yeah.
So he pays me that night. Tells me I go to the payphone. So when I'm on the payphone, we arranged it. And while I'm waiting, I'm just talking on the phone. Two older gangsters pull up on me and put a gun on my stomach to rob me. So,
do you think that he was part of it? Or
no,
something?
It was random. It was random. They were doing robberies all over the place. They were hitting people left and right
in LA.
In LA, in Huntington Park on Florence. So they just happened to see me and pull up and run up to me and put a gun on my stomach. And I was undercover, so I had my gun on me, my waistband, real waistband, and I had my badge and my police ID in my wallet. So the first thing I tried to do is distract these dudes and not letting them find my wallet or my gun. So the one guy is in front of me, jabbing me with his gun. The other guy's going through my pockets on my left side. When I feel that the guy's getting too close to my wallet, I end up backhanding him and grabbing the other guy's gun. So we start fighting for the guy's gun. We fall to the ground, and I'm still wrestling with the gun, I got the barrel. I'm trying to pull it away from the guy, but I'm also blocking the guy's kick. There's two guys. One's kicking me, and the other guy's trying to shoot at me. So I'm on my back, grabbing the guy's gun and blocking kicks at the same time. I can't go for my weapon. The guy that has the handle of the gun pulls it, stands over me. His friends kick and throw him over. I get up. As I get up, he shoots me in my right leg. I spin around to shoot him. He shoots me in my left leg. I spin around and start shooting him. I chase him. I shoot him. The third man, the driver, gets him and throws him in the car to the hospital where they get arrested. I go back into a shootout, they shoot somebody, they get shot, or they kill somebody.
It's traumatic.
It's traumatic.
It replays in your head, no? Like,
yeah.
Did it?
It started playing a lot in my head. It started like I was different from that shootout. I was way different. My life was like close to getting wiped out at that moment, and I was like, I got shot in both legs, but thank God I did. I recovered from the bullet wounds, but I committed a lot of mistakes after that. I made a lot of mistakes after that shootout. I didn't get any I didn't seek any help. I suppressed everything, and I didn't talk about it. I just ignored it, like nothing big deal. Like, okay, get over it, get through it, and that's it. Go back to work. So I never thought that, I was brought up like to shut up and tough it out, right?
Like you thought you were like, it was part of the job too.
Yeah.
Like, you just handle
Pretty much,
you take it, and then you get back to work. Or...
That's pretty much how I was trained, and that's how I was brought up too. Because growing up in an abusive home, you don't complain. You just do what you're told, and you don't like it, get your ass kicked, and that's life. And man up. And that's how I was brought up. So you're tough. You're toughened up to the point where you don't you're desensitized. So you're not.
Hey, thank you, Love Mechanics. Thanks for that super chat. Hey, if you guys have any questions, if you got questions that need to be answered, do super chat, and we're gonna share it with Ruben. If you absolutely need the answers, the question answered, So I'm trying to get him some money too, so we can get started. All right, keep going. Sorry. People got questions. You can answer the questions too, but keep going with your story. So you got shot, right?
I got shot.
Mess with you. You think you had PTSD?
Oh, do you want to answer questions too?
If they come through, no, you. It's all you, bro.
Because I mean,
there's a chase, so I'm gonna turn up the
volume for the chase.
Yeah.
All right.
CHP. I got the chase, slow show, 91 East.
CHP's boring. AAA with a badge.
Cat Harvey. Here's a question. Cat, thank you for that super chat.
Question.
Just curious, did the teachers at the school know you were there as an undercover cop?
No, they didn't know. The principal knows that there's an undercover cop there, but they don't know who that person is, because the teachers could be selling drugs too, or the principal could be selling drugs. They could set you up and burn you and get you killed. So nobody's supposed to know who you are at all, because
so the teachers don't know.
They could get you killed.
Who knows? Just the principal?
The principal knows that there's a cop there, but never knows who the cop is.
Oh. But you think he could guess? It's the new guy?
I don't think they could guess, because you go in there in a stealth mode. They don't even really know who could it be. And
but
you gotta play the part.
Wouldn't you be able to tell them if it's some new guy that just showed up and he's a senior?
You go in, there's a lot of new people checking in too, so you want to do when everybody's a new semester starts, whatever that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of, so it could be one of 30, 40 students or something.
Yeah, because it's risky, and the teacher could be the dope dealer. You never know. You don't want to be put under the bus.
Yeah. Did you guys ever bust the teacher? I'm sure the aides and stuff. I remember in school, the teacher aides, they were the fuck smoking weed and giving weed to the kids and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure
the assistant dudes, the younger dudes, And then you hear of teachers that were hooking up with the kids and shit, but I didn't believe it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just got to take care of yourself, liability for yourself. You don't want to get yourself killed, so you just you got to play the role. You got to be an actor. Doing undercover work, you got to be an actor. So after that shootout, I still went back to work undercover, and I started buying dope like crazy, because a lot of students started selling me drugs left and right, because I told them a big old story that I went back to work in crutches, fresh bullet wounds, and the little youngsters were like, what happened? They used to call me Miklo. I had my hair slicked back and stuff, and that movie from Blood Out,
Miklo,
so the kids think I look like Miklo, and so there I am.
So it helped your story more. It gave you more credibility, because it's you got in a shootout.
Yeah. So I basically told the kids
you
a big
can't
old
fake
story.
that. You can't fake the shoot.
They saw the wounds, because they're still fresh. There's still blood on my wounds when I had gauze. Because I still had crutches. And they're like, fuck, what happened? So I told them, and then I lied to them. I told them a different story. I told them I was in the projects buying drugs.
Yeah.
And some gangsters just tried to rob me. They shot me and stuff, and blah, blah, blah. Big old story. Yeah. So they're like, damn, man. So they told me, hey, you should have came to. We would have hooked you with the dope. So, and next thing you know, everybody wants to sell me drugs in school.
Yeah.
It became easy for me to buy dope. And they took me to their homes where they had big old kilos of cocaine, and you got kilos of cocaine and weapons in the house, and eventually, we ended up doing search warrants on those houses, hitting them. But anyway, I got some big bust out of that. But I regret that unit. To me was totally, I could say, useless for the department.
What, the whole operation, you think?
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
really
because-
accomplish much?
Yeah, because the department, what I find out is the department, when you're undercover, you don't get any credit for the arrest. You don't get any credit for nothing. The one that get it is just your supervisors, because they're doing the paperwork. So it's like they're getting promoted, but you're not. It's like it's more for their promotions, and
it's more to like say, hey, we're cleaning up the schools, and then they do the whole bus and the media and everything, right?
Good. So yeah, the
We
department.
did a roundup.
And the thing is, I didn't do anything about my issue in regards to what I was going through mentally from the shootout. So I started looking at things in the department like saying, "Fine, these guys are looking at me as a number. They're just caring about me going out there and putting into work for them." And I started taking things personal instead of me doing my like speaking up on stuff or going on. I didn't know. I guess when you're brought up in a certain way, you don't talk about your issues. You don't talk about what's going on in your head. You just tough it out, you know. So that's how I function. And instead, I was just getting pissed off at the department and blaming them. But I wasn't doing anything about myself, you know, my own issues.
So you had a lot of resentment.
I had a lot of resentment, and I was pissed off.
How much time did you get off after the shooting?
Like a month and a half just to go for physical therapy. But I still had fresh bullet wounds in my leg, but they were still not healed. But mentally, I was already on a different trip, because once you get shot or you shoot somebody, you kill someone, you go through different stages in your brain. Like you start having flashbacks, you start revisiting the shootout in your head a lot, over and over. Besides flashback, you start revisiting and thinking, what could you have done better? How could you have done better? What's going to happen if you ever have to do it again? How are you going to do it better where you don't get you know, just go through so much stuff. And now you're more hyper vigilant, and now you're like more armed. You're more like
you're more like, you know, it could happen at any time.
and you're ready, but
right?
you expect it, you want it, because you don't know how to turn that off. And then while I was in that unit, they told you not to carry your guns in high school, but I was carrying my gun in high school after that. I didn't care. I would carry it on me, and I didn't care.
You were still at South East at that.
I was
that
already
time.
I had already left South East to go work the undercover unit.
At what station or what division were you working undercover? Rampart?
No, right here in downtown LA.
Oh, downtown, out of Central.
Someone asked if I got a medal for getting shot and not blowing up my cover. I did get a Medal of Valor for that shootout. Somebody asked that question somewhere. So I did get a medal. I got a Medal of Valor. It's called a police medal, and that medal is for bravery, for who knows what else, and the department. That's what they awarded me. I mean, but that don't mean crap to me, because I was still jacked up in the head after that shootout.
Yeah.
So the medal didn't fix nothing. It got me credibility for the department. For the department, it's like I look like a gunslinger for the department guys. So I'm tested. So
it gave you street cred with the kids, and also cred with the cops, right?
Yeah, they gave me street cred with the kids.
You tested, you did what you had to do.
Street cred with the
and what
department.
happened to the guys that got shot?
They got arrested in the hospital. They got a lot of time, 50 years to life, because they were wanted parolees. They were doing robberies everywhere, and they're out there doing some badass stuff. So pretty much I stopped their spree.
Yeah.
But
they lived. They just got arrested.
One of them got shot and blew his balls off.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. That's the one that shot me. Yeah. I mean, when you're in a shootout, hey, whatever happens, and you know, things happen.
Oh yeah, this guy's trying to kill you.
He's trying to kill me. Yeah. So then that was that. They got arrested. They got a lot of time for that. They were like wanted 3 strikers. They were out there doing some bad stuff to people.
Yeah.
So sometimes, hey man, sometimes that happens when you're doing that crap.
Yeah.
So that was my first shootout. So from that unit, I ended up leaving and going to Rampart Division.
And you became
as a regular
like street cop?
Street cop. I went back to be patrol cop. I worked patrol for 1 year in Rampart Division. 1990s, it was a lot of violence in Rampart Division. We had a lot of gangs. MS-13, 18th Street, Playboys, Rockwood, Street Criminals. You have a lot of gangs right there, and they were during the time in the 90s. There was a lot of wars against each other. So when you're working patrol or anything in Rampart, you're gonna run into a shootout. You're gonna run into violence. You're gonna run into stuff that's out of control, like non-stop every day. And when I worked the patrol for the whole year, you always drove around and gunfire everywhere, shots fired in the area. If you had that thing going on then, you'd be fired up.
This was in the 90s, right?
In the 90s, yeah. So then I got assigned to Rampart Division, Rampart Crash, after a year.
After being a beat cop 1 year, and then you got promoted. They came and recruited you, or you have to like apply for the crash?
They recruited me. Somebody asked another question. If former LAPD caused a problem for you when I was incarcerated, when I did time. I'll answer that question in a minute because I haven't got there yet. Cause I don't know about doing time. Oh
yeah, just keep going with your story, bro.
So
whatever you want to answer.
I got recruited to Rampart Crash. Rampart Crash is a unit was an elite unit that deals with nothing but the gang problems. And for a lot of people that don't know about gangs, I mean, maybe some of you guys are gang members, were gang members, or know about gangs. When you're involved in it, you know the rules. You know the rules that you live by. You know the rules that the gang cops live by, and that's just street rules. When you're a gang cop, you live by certain rules too. You don't live by the patrol cop rules. You live by street rules to operate, to function, and get the job done. And nobody should get offended when it's a cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
So if I'm a gang cop and I'm dealing with the gang problems and I'm trying to operate by the books, I'm never gonna get the job done because the gangsters know.
Look at that old.
You know, the gang members know the book too. They know the law, so they know what they can get away with. And if they victimize innocent people, all they gotta do is threaten a victim, and the victim ain't gonna press charges. And guess what? The criminal's gonna get away with it, and the victim's gonna be a victim. So pretty much, we operated a different level, different way, because we knew that we had to help these people that we patrol, we protect, we're supposed to serve. That was our job. I know people might get pissed off and not like it, but we operated about, what do you call that? Not by the book.
By the spirit of the law?
By the spirit, or by the different structure that worked for us. And sometimes we had to do stuff to bend the rules to deal with the situation and to make things better for the victims. And if you're in those shoes, then you understand. When you're not in those shoes, you don't understand what it's like to be a gang cop dealing with the worst criminals that are killing, raping innocent people out there, which was happening in the 90s. They're terrorizing innocent people, extorting them, robbing and raping their daughters and stuff. MS-13, the neighborhoods, even they kill each other as gang members. That's what they signed up for. That's what they want. That's the life they chose. But they didn't sign up for that stuff. So when I worked Crash, we operated by a book, and it was a system that the gangsters knew. They understood it. They didn't cry and complain when they got busted. If you put dope on a gang member that was robbing people, he wasn't gonna cry and complain. He took his lumps.
He took it because he's like, oh, they're letting me slide on this other thing or something. They're getting me for this.
Yeah, they gave me for the dope, but they ain't getting me for the robberies. I just did like 3 robberies over here at gunpoint. Shit, I'll take the dope charge. So they're happy. They're not gonna get booked for the robberies, but you know they still got to get booked for something. So we operated that way, and eventually one of our partners stole some cocaine from the evidence locker, and then he ended up selling it on the street. He had people selling it for him. He got busted for it.
One of the crash guys?
Yeah, one of the crash guys. Rafael Perez.
Oh, Perez, yeah.
Perez, yeah. And then he got busted and he snitched.
So you were working with Perez in the crash unit?
Yeah, I was in the crash with Perez.
Okay.
So then, as this is going on, Perez started exposing the unit. He, instead of going to jail and taking his lumps like a man, he ended up snitching on everybody. He said that he told on us, he exposed the whole unit, that we were doing a bunch of stuff, that everybody was putting dope on evidence on gang members, planting evidence on gang members.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna be straight up. A lot of times, when you're doing what you're doing as a gang member, and you know that you're breaking the law, because that's what most gang members. Well, that's what you sign up to do, to rob, sell dope, or get your dope, get your money. different hustles, right?
Yeah.
And no matter who the victim is, you're getting your hustle, and extorting, putting in work for your neighborhood, killing your enemies, or sometimes killing innocent people. That's the life you signed up for. And then when you're busted for something, a lot of times I see it in prison. People they cry and complain. They cry a lot, and I'm like, man, you knew what you signed up for. So what are you crying about, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, when you arrested these dudes, and sometimes they took their lumps. Some of them didn't want to take the lumps, but the point is, when I talk to the victims, nobody ever talks to the victim. Nobody ever interviews the victim, what they went through, what they're going through. You know, they ignore the victim. The victim's the one that got abused, victimized by this person.
Yeah.
They put them like they don't exist. They're invisible. So, and then when we were doing this, Perez started, exposing everybody. So our department started investigating the whole crash unit.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself got pissed off at the police department. Let me backtrack. In '98, I got into a shootout with a guy, and he pulls out a shotgun and ended up shooting this guy. He ended up dying. But it just started becoming a normal thing. Because once you don't deal with your issues,
Yeah.
it becomes a natural thing for you. You become very, very tough and callous.
Like when you got in that second shootout, did it bring back all the stuff from the first one, you think? Like,
No, it just became so much easier.
so you became
I
like
became
numb to it.
Yeah,
At
and I
that point,
became
you're like, oh, this is just part
like
of
a natural
it.
gunslinger. Like, it was natural for me. I was looking forward to it. I wasn't afraid of getting shot. I looked forward to violence. I looked forward to the next shooting. I wanted it. I wanted people to try to shoot me, trying to kill me, so I could freaking shoot it out.
Because you like the adrenaline,
liked the
or what?
adrenaline.
You
I
think
was
you had
addicted.
anger? You had
I had addiction to adrenaline. I needed that. It was like
The action, right?
I like the action. I need to get that high. It was like a high to me.
Yeah.
I wanted that feeling of, come on, let's freaking do this. And I wanted them to shoot him so I could just shoot it out. It was a high. It was a high that I needed. I was craving it.
Yeah.
So I drove around. Every time a radio call came out, shots fired, I was the first one to respond. I was there. And not knowing that I was going out to the deep end, I was like thinking it's normal because I'm working in a crazy field, right? So
was that like the culture in the whole department though that were kind of like that, you think, or it was just you that was like
just
that?
a few of us, Vietnam veterans I knew that worked under. Just a few of us have been in shootouts. Just the guys that have been in shootouts, get that way, or been shot. You get that way. It's just what they call. They didn't have PTSD back then. They didn't talk about PTSD.
Yeah.
It was just you're just solid ass dude. You're down. That's what they call it. So what you call it? When Perez started telling on everybody started getting investigated with the department for but I doing what I did. But management sometimes what pisses the officers off, because management doesn't take care of the officers. A lot of management, like the brass, like the commanders, captains, they don't even have any. Because that phone went down.
Yeah, man. If you guys can, his channel link, the @ should be in the title.
It's still buffering.
Oh shit.
We'll hold that thought.
Oh, hopefully it didn't disconnect completely. Let's get out of here.
We'll be back. Short commercial.
Yeah. But sign up to his YouTube channel. He's trying to do some big things to help people out, right? To experience stuff like this, or especially cops that are out there, right? It's in the description. It's @RedeemedWarrior91. It should be in the title of the video there. The link should be clickable, so you can click on it and then just subscribe to his channel.
It's back.
And make sure you guys subscribe to the link in the title. That's his channel, and we're trying to build up his channel so he can get out there and help people.
Yeah, so what happened to me is I got really mad at the police department, and I wasn't brought up in a really loving environment, or I didn't understand forgiveness, so I was a very unforgiving person, so I was real revengeful. So once I felt betrayed by the department, I started getting even with I wanted to hurt the department really bad.
Like you felt like you were working for the enemy or something?
Yeah, I
like
thought
that?
they actually took advantage and used me, and then they wanted to throw me into the bus now. So I started getting pissed off at them, and I said, oh, yeah, if you guys, and I didn't care who you were, if you're the chief or the captain, I'm gonna still mess you up. I'm gonna hurt you. I didn't matter who you were. So I wanted to beat everybody up. I wanted to hurt everybody. I wanted to hurt the gangbangers, the dope dealers, and steal their money, and hurt the department. So I used the police department vehicles, my badge, my uniform, and I started connecting with some of the my informants who were connected with the people from Mexico and everywhere else. And I started hitting houses and robbing them for their big money and their drugs.
Okay. So you started robbing
the big drug dealers. I hit the house. The first house I robbed was about $1 million.
by yourself though, or you guys had a crew?
I recruited like 6 other cops that were pissed off too.
Yeah.
And a few other military guys that could watch my back, who all were trained and stuff.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I was their boss, so I had them all trained up and make sure they knew their tactics and stuff, and weapons and surveillance, you name it. I trained them all up in certain tactics. So we hit a house, and we hit the first house, and we took about $1 million cash and 15 kilos of cocaine.
Oh, fuck.
And I came up after that. I got addicted to it. It was easy, free money. I hit another house the next time. I hit about 500 pounds of weed back in the 90s. That 500 pounds of weed was expensive, so that I started becoming addicted to it. Then eventually I hit another house. I got about a ton of weed.
And you were still working as a cop this whole time?
Cop.
You'd show up?
I was still showing up like nothing happened. I was like laughing at their faces, like, aha. I didn't like my captain. I didn't like none of them. I was like, I didn't like my chief. My chief had pissed me off, so I didn't like my chief either. So those things, I was just getting even. And I had all these guys working for me, so
you guys had a crew.
We had a
just
crew.
robbing.
Yeah,
drug
hitting the dudes. Yeah, hitting the drug dealers. And then I had gangsters working for me too. So I had a little bit of everything happening, and I had military guys working for me. It just becomes money and power and adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And everything that came with it. I did this for 2 years on the low. I wasn't exposed. Nobody knew about it until one of my cousins got involved with the wrong people and got us busted in San Diego for 10 kilos of cocaine. In 2001, I got arrested. My journey stopped right there. 2001, I'm arrested and
trying to sell the stuff that you stole.
Nah, my cousin was trying to buy 10 kilos of cocaine from some Colombians, and they were just set up. It was a sting operation against my cousin and his friend, and then they exposed me and told on me.
So they ratted on you to get out of their case?
Yeah, they ratted on me
because they were like, oh,
they didn't take
I can give you a dirty cop or something. Yeah.
Well, they invited
were your own cousins that turned on you?
My cousin and his friends. Yeah. So.
But they did it for that, right?
Yeah, they did it for that. They didn't want to do no time.
And did they do any time, or they got
off?
They
took their time. Some of them did like a year, 5 years. One of them did. They didn't do a lot of time, but they got their time cut because they told on me and my partners.
And then they started investigating.
They started investigating the whole thing. It took a few years, but I got
How'd you get arrested though?
Oh, it was a sting operation against my cousin. I went to meet their Colombian connection because he wanted me to collect a debt for him, or wanted me to train his unit, his crew. He wanted me to train his crew, and I wasn't gonna go meet him because I was like, I don't need to go meet nobody. But my pride got in my way, and I ended up going. And while I'm there, they did the 10 kilo transaction, and it was a sting operation.
So they were cops.
They were cops. They were DA guys, DAs.
DA unit.
Yeah, so they busted all of us there.
And when you got arrested, were you like, hey, I'm a cop or something?
I said, hey, you're going to blow my cover. I'm working in the cover.
Oh, you did?
I did. I was lying to them. But
were you trying to get out of it?
I was trying to get out of it.
Or you knew you were just, you had no way, right?
I knew I was busted, but I was just trying to buy time.
Yeah.
Because I needed to go home, take care of my stuff.
Yeah.
But my cousins, then they were already telling on me, so they already had me. The juke was up. So they had me. And, I didn't care. I was mad. I still was pissed off. I didn't care. I was willing to take my lumps. I knew what I was involved in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cry about what I knew I was doing. I was willing.
You knew the consequences.
I knew the consequences. I'm not no little kid. I'm a grown-ass man. I knew what I was doing, why I was doing it. I had fun doing it. I wasn't complaining. I was just mad at snitches.
Yeah.
Can't take the lumps. But while I was in, I was still pissed off, and I wanted to do some bad stuff to some people. I wanted to get revenge on everybody. My game plan was to get revenge on everybody and whack everybody. That was my game plan. But I had everybody don't want to hear the story, but I had an encounter. I had to change my ways. I had somebody start preaching the Bible to me, and
Because once you're already in prison.
yeah, and I was already locked up, and somebody started reading the Bible to me, and I didn't expect to change. I was gonna go do some bad stuff in prison too, and I started reading the Bible, and I surrendered my life to Jesus at that time, and I started still going through a lot of stuff. Still struggling a lot. I still was struggling with a lot of stuff in there because prison's not easy for nobody, especially an ex-cop, because you still got to establish yourself, and you don't want to get yourself in a wreck, and people want to try to kill you in there, and you might have to fight. You might have to kill somebody, so you have to really think about everything.
Were you in federal prison?
I was in the feds,
Okay.
general population, and they tried to tell me to leave the yard the second day, and the shot caller, his boss was my friend, so they ended up leaving me alone.
Okay. You must have. And how did it happen? Like in the trial, what charges did they put on you?
Abuse of power in the court of authority, possession of drugs for distribution for sales, all kinds of different charges.
And you were facing a life sentence or something almost, or were you chasing?
Pretty much.
How many years were you actually facing?
100 years if I went to trial.
Shit.
But I didn't go to trial. 2 years into my charges, I pled guilty, and I got 18 years.
Okay. So you just took the plea deal for 18.
Yeah, I took the plea deal.
How did that feel, bro? Like when?
I was happy.
Yeah.
I was
went
glad.
to court and they were 18 years. Did you feel like it was?
And it didn't faze me. I was glad that I didn't get 100 years. I didn't get 80 because they wanted to give me 28. They went from 100, dropped it to 28, and then from 28 they went to 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I was glad they didn't give me 28 because I was like, man, I'm already down 7 years already. So I still had, from 7 years, I still had less than 10 years to do. So I could take the. I knew I was going to do my 30s and my 40s in prison pretty much, almost 20 years. You have to man up. You can't be a crybaby.
Yeah, you took responsibility.
I owned up to
you
my
knew what you were up
responsibility.
to.
I took
you knew
2
the
years.
consequences, and you're gonna deal with them.
I pled guilty into my 2 years into my sentence. I said, I'm guilty. I'm gonna stop playing games.
Do you feel like they made an example out of you because you were a cop, like a dirty cop?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah. I don't know. That kind of seems like a long time, bro, for drugs.
It was a long time.
Right? 18 years or facing 100 years. It seems like.
But I had.
How do people get murdered and they get 13 years? You know,
Right.
People kill
They get
people.
10 years
They
sometimes.
rape people. They're doing 8 months, 2 months,
they don't get no
whatever.
time.
They give them 2-3 years and they're out in 15 months.
The system is jacked up. The system is messed up. The system is twisted up. It needs to get fixed. But we got some bad leaders too. And up above, they need to remove these jacked up leaders and put better leaders. Because the system is jacked up. And a lot of people talk a lot of crap about people. Until you've been in those shoes or you've been in prison, you understand that you shouldn't judge anybody. Because man, when I was a cop, I used to talk crap too, and then I learned my lesson when I went to prison, how effed up it is for people in there, and how not everybody, people make mistakes. There's some bad dudes in there that need to be in prison because they are jacked up, dude. They shouldn't be out. But there's some dudes that are solid that made mistakes, and they just need to learn the lesson and get home. But everybody's different. Not everybody's the same. You can't put everybody in a box or a stereotype or in a group, because everybody's an individual. But you have a lot of ignorant people out there too. Ignorant people that just talk crap.
Let's answer some questions here. We
All
got
right.
a bunch of, Desert Van Life, thank you for that super chat. Do you remember your inlets, he said. Do you know what that is? N-E-L-E-T-S?
Who is it?
Desert Van Life. But it's called the inlets. Do you remember your inlets?
What's that?
I don't know. What does the inlets mean, Desert? Maybe it's something like when you first become a cop. He asked it a while back, but I didn't want to interrupt.
I don't remember it.
Inlets?
What about this one? It's just too personal. I understand. Please feel free to decline. But were you ever married or have children? If so, how did? Oh,
Thank you, Kat.
let me answer that one. So when I went to prison, I was dating someone. I have 2 daughters with this one girl, and she was a police officer. But the year into my case, she dumped me, and she cheated on me. And so pretty much we broke up. She broke up.
Yeah.
And then I pretty much stayed single in prison for a long time. And then, like a big dummy, I ended up reconnecting with an ex-girlfriend, and she became my girl while I was in there, which is dumb. You shouldn't have a girlfriend while you're in prison because it's dumb. That's hard time. I ended up dating the girl. I got home. I ended up marrying her and divorcing her. It didn't work out. Bad move on my part. But you live and learn. I do have children from my ex, and they're grown and they're doing good, thank God. I do have a good relationship with all my kids. Thank God for that. Yep.
There's another one. Josie Ortiz.
Oh, how did that affect? How did that affect them? It affected my kids pretty bad, and that was the only thing that hurt me the most. That I didn't think about my kids, that I was gonna hurt them that bad, and affected them. That was what that really hurt me the most, was my kids, being away from my kids.
How old were your kids when you got arrested?
11, 9, 6, 3, and 1.
Damn, so
They're
you
all
have a lot of
babies.
kids, yeah.
Yeah. What did Josie Ortiz say?
Did you work with David Mack?
David Mack
Or Love Mechanics too. Do you have any Rafael Perez training day stories? They're kind of connected, right? Perez and Mack.
Yeah, they're connected. I worked together with Perez. David Mack worked Rampart, but then he left and he robbed a bank, and then he got arrested for the bank robbery. So we didn't really I knew him, but I didn't really interact with him too much. Perez I did work with in Crash, and we did do stuff together, but not, just gang cop stuff.
No dirt, no legal stuff.
No, the guy just snitched. He told on us, and that's that. He walked the walk. He talked the talk, but he obviously didn't walk it. And he acted like he was a tough guy, but he really wasn't.
And he didn't even get that much time. Right?
He got like 4 years.
That's what I didn't know. I thought he was in jail for a long time.
No, he got like 4 years for telling everybody, and then he lied a lot too. So, yeah.
He was like the face of it, right? Of the scandal, but he only got 4 years.
He got 4 years.
That's why it's crazy that you got 16.
What did Josie Ortiz say?
Did you work with David Mack?
Oh, you asked that question, Josie? I didn't work with him, but we worked around each other. But he left from Rampart, and then he went to the bank robbery. Then he went to prison for bank robbery.
David Mack, right?
Yeah, David Mack.
I heard he stole like $1 million or something in bank robbery?
And
they never found the money, right?
They never found the money. I ran into him in prison, actually. We ran into each other, and we just had a long conversation about that stuff. But I said, what's up, you gonna break bread? He gave me a big smile, like, I don't think so.
He has it buried under a tree somewhere, huh?
I was like, bastard.
And they never found the money, right?
Nah, him and Perez and another guy, I know they had it. I knew who they were, but I ain't gonna say no names no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I answer your question? What's this? Cat?
Cat Harvey.
Cat Harvey. Cat Harvey.
That was a family one, yeah.
Yeah, that was
You're
family.
married, your kids. Yeah. How it affected them, like, how is it like now? Like, do you guys talk about it? Like, now your kids are grown. Is it?
We talked about it when I got home, and I say, hey, whatever you want to tell me right now.
You know?
Yeah, I asked
Did you feel guilty?
I asked for forgiveness, but I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel like anything like oh, poor boo-hoo them or me, because I was on a good one at that time. I was in a different state in my head. I was violent, angry, and I didn't think about nobody but my revenge. I didn't think about nobody else.
Were you doing drugs and stuff during that time where they put you in that mindset, or were you completely like sober?
Huh?
Were you doing drugs when you were
I wasn't
out of
doing
control?
drugs.
Like drinking or something?
I drank alcohol, and I drank alcohol to calm down at night, and I smoked weed to calm down, because like I said, I didn't know I had PTSD. I realized when I went to prison, years into my case, that I had PTSD, a bad case of PTSD. And because of all the shootings and the violence and being shot and shooting people, that I guess that was part of the PTSD. I didn't realize it.
And you got
Who said they didn't believe I was a cop? Somebody said they didn't believe I was a cop.
No, you can look him up, man. Rueben Palomares, you can look up the case. It's everywhere.
Google it.
Yeah, you can Google it.
A lot of people don't believe that. Answer Kat. She has another question.
Get another one. Did they put you in a special section of the prison for your safety? And thank you for your answering the questions. Thank you, Kat.
So
yeah, from the super chats, we're gonna share them with Ruben.
Let me talk to Kat.
Yeah.
So Kat, I went to prison. The first 3 months they put me in the SHU, and then they put me in general population. For 2 years I was general population, which is good. Interacting. I was doing my little Bible studies and stuff, staying out of trouble. And then I got sentenced in my first indictment to 15 years, and then they put me in the 5 years in the SHU because of my co-defendants were separatists. They kept me away from my co-defendants. After 5 years, I got sentenced to the 18 years total, and then they moved me to the general population in Arizona prison in Arizona, and then prison in Herlong, California, prison, and all general population, Mendota, Texas, Colorado, and back to Oklahoma. So I got moved around from a lot of prisons, but I was in general population. Every prison I went into, I had to reestablish myself with the prison gang politics stuff, you know, like.
And they knew you were a cop. Like, you have to lead, right? Like, they check the paperwork and stuff. Like, what are you in for? And you have to.
I tell them the truth.
I'm a dirty cop.
I would tell them the truth. The SHU means a general solitary confinement, special housing unit. That's what they put me in. Keep me away from my co-defendants. It was not for my liability or safety because I already was established in the yards. I walked the yards in general population because pretty much it's you have to know how to carry yourself. You have to know how to talk to people. And I was honest with the shot callers about my case while I was in there. And you know, people they respect honest people. They don't like a bunch of fake liars in prison. A lot of liars, a lot of fakes, and they respect someone that's honest. They didn't care I was an ex-cop. They got my back.
Was there other cops in there too?
Yeah, I ran into a bunch of other cops hiding, you know, scared.
Like in what? In the protective?
No, they were in protective. They were in the yard too.
Okay. Did they get messed with too, or it just depends how you carried yourself more than anything?
Yeah, it depends how you carry it. But you know what, Kat? It could be like it's challenging. It's challenging when you're in it because you have to watch your back, and you have to. If you're an ex-cop, you could have enemies that don't like you, that may pretend they're your friends, who might want to hurt you or set you up. But because prison politics, this is how it runs. The Mexicans run with the Mexicans, the whites run with the whites, the blacks run with the blacks. I ran with the Mexicans, but I was Christian, but I ran with the Mexicans, and the Mexicans, they call them paisas. They had my back, and they had like 700 in one prison comparing to 300 whites, 400 blacks, 50 gang members, sureños. So there were big numbers in the prison where I was at. So they had my back, and pretty much the rules apply. They have to respect the rules. If somebody was trying to hurt me or something, they're gonna let me know, or they're gonna have my back, or they're gonna talk to me, do something before anything happens. So yeah, there was times where I was like not able to sleep for one night because I thought I was gonna have to do something to some people. I went through those nights too, but I had to learn. I had to grow in my faith too, because I was trying to be good. It was challenging.
That's crazy.
They don't like cops, but I guess it depends how you carry yourself. Don't act like you're all that or you're not Superman. You just got to be respectful. Mm-hmm. Respect goes a long way. Thank you, Kat, for the questions.
So in there, everyone's kind of equal. It just depends. Like you start off as equal, kind of, no?
Yeah.
It depends how you carry yourself. And if you owe people money or talk shit about people, then you're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah,
no?
But there's ranks.
Mm-hmm. That was federal. You think it's different in the regular prison? Do you think it's safer in the federal prisons?
It's not safe in any of them because what happens is politics run all prisons. Gang politics. It depends who you run with, and if, like for example, me, I had some good connections. I had the cartel people, friends, people that had my back, and when you're in there, they respect you because they benefit off you too.
Okay.
I train guys in there too, so I teach martial arts.
So you were using your martial arts skills.
Yeah, I
to train
guys
people.
In there, and
that probably helped you a lot too, right?
Yeah, that helped me a lot.
Because people were like, I don't want to fuck with this dude. This is a Golden Glove boxer, right?
They paid me a lot to train them. It said, did you know or work with Russell Poole? He got killed. Russell Poole, unfortunately, I didn't know him. He's the one that investigated the Biggie Small, Tupac shooting. He wrote a book too, A Murder Inc. But unfortunately, he ended up dying. But Russell Poole, I did know him. He did discover a lot of stuff on who killed who. But again, he ended up dying.
Yeah,
unfortunate. Yeah, but I did know him.
Sunnyside, thank you for that super chat. Thanks to all the people that sent those super chats, man.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the guy did do his job and he took it serious about investigating those murders, but he ended up dying.
Damn. All right, so where are we right now? You're in prison, right? After the Rampart stuff, you're in prison.
So I'm in prison, and I got my 18 years. And
what year did you start becoming like religious, or did you?
It wasn't even like that, man. I was on a suicide mission. So this dude, I was on a suicide mission. I told you I was celled up with this ex-House Angel guy, and I was on a suicide mission. And in my mind, I didn't think there was any form of redemption for me, like forgiveness for me. I just thought I'm already done. I might as well just go hard until I get killed or die, because I didn't know there was a to clean up my act, right? Once you mess up, I thought this is it. Well, I'm talking to this Hell's Angel guy, and he started talking about forgiveness, and that forgiveness conversation started getting to me, because I never really understood forgiveness. I was always a kind of guy that never forgave people.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in forgiveness. I didn't believe in forgiving anybody. I believed in revenge, payback, punish people, whatever. And when he started talking about forgiveness and God's forgiveness, he started reading the Bible to me. It started feeling like a heaviness, like that was convicting me. And when I did that moment, I started talking to him more about it. I opened up to him. He started like sharing stuff, and I did a prayer with him. And you're in prison. You're already at the bottom of your life. You're either gonna do the right thing.
You felt like you weren't even gonna come out of prison.
I didn't think I was gonna get out. I thought if I did, I'm gonna kill everybody that told on me. I'm gonna get revenge, and I was going through a lot of stuff in my head, and I had a lot of anger, stored up anger, and
yeah.
I didn't know what was gonna happen. I felt betrayed by everybody because everybody told on me. So at that point, I'm just thinking, F everybody, I'm gonna kill everybody. And when I did that prayer of forgiveness, man, something happened. Something happened to me inside that I had never experienced in my life. And that right there, I had this peace.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. The peace I had was like deep. So I was like, whoa, this is real. And then I had like I really felt like a presence of God in my life, and that's what started happening to me. And I even told myself, I said, man, I didn't think this is nothing I expected to happen in my life, because I was on a good one.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I ever experienced God's presence in my life. And then from there on, I just said, well, hey, I'm down to do whatever I have to do to get my act right. I'm gonna do time. I'm not afraid of doing time. I know I gotta do time. I didn't ask God to get me out of prison. I just said, change my ways so I'm not crazy. I'm not violent. Trying to be different. There was another question right there.
Were you asking for like forgiveness, or?
I asked God for forgiveness.
Let's see if this question, we missed one. Desert van life again.
Thanks for sharing. Have you accepted Jesus as your... I actually did. I did do that. I did accept him as Lord and Savior. That's what I did when I was in prison. And that's what I was talking about. That's when I experienced this peace I never had in my life. And I'm glad it happened, because I was going to go on a suicide mission. And he really got a hold of me. And while I was in there, I started doing Bible study. I started helping other people. People that were in there with a lot of crazy stuff going on in their life. I started becoming like a counselor for people. Then I started getting a lot of counseling programs for myself. I started getting help from different Christian psychologists. And that's how I started healing from mental health. That's why I started healing from Ptsd. And that's how I started forgiving people. I went on a whole list of forgiving people. Mm-hmm. And you'll be surprised how much junk you store up in your mind and your heart if you don't forgive people. You store up a lot of crap inside you. If you don't let it go, it eats you up.
It eats you.
You start having sicknesses, you start having mental problems, you start having emotional problems, and you have physical bitterness, and that stuff tears you up. So believe me, I went through a journey of forgiving a lot of people. Forgiving myself, forgiving my stepdad, just you name it. And it started feeling good for me because I started healing. So I didn't care what anybody thought about me when I was in there, because I was like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm looking out for myself. I got to get my act right here, my head right. Because if I didn't get my mind right, I was going to mess up in prison, because I was very prone to violence. I was very quick to do violence. And I don't look like a violent guy. And people could tell you I don't look like a violent guy. But I like violence. I thrived with violence before. That was my answer to everything. Violence. Everything worked with me for violence.
Were you the one that initiated the violence when you were younger, or you felt like
I was peaceful?
You were the guy that like didn't take no shit. Right? I didn't your fuse was super short.
Yeah, I had a short fuse. I don't put up with crap before. I didn't take crap from anybody, and I was very nice and easy going with everybody until you try to step over. Once you try to step over, I would just snap, and that's it. And I wasn't a troublemaker. I don't like problems, but at the same time, I was ready for stuff if I needed to be. And I took martial arts since I was a kid. I took all these arts for a reason, because I like to be ready. And
did you deal with a lot of violence growing up, like in the streets and stuff, like? And you went into that for protection, or did you just like the sport aspect of it?
for both, for the sports aspect and protection, because I did see a lot of violence growing up. I had guns pointed to my head when I was a little kid. So that was a lot of stuff going on. And I was gonna say, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna do a lot of teachings on mental health, how to heal. Because I healed from PTSD. I healed from that stuff, and you know, there's a lot of different stages you have to go through to heal. But I healed, and I got out of prison a better person because I took the steps. I researched. I did a lot of homework. I did the 7 years pretty much. I did 5 years solid in the solitary confinement. I did a lot of years in the SHU, and I had time to study, research, and that alone was my quiet time and peace time. I studied a lot because I need a lot of answers to my issues. So I have a lot of tools I can help people with. That's my point.
And in the SHU, like, how many hours did you get out there? Is that where you only get out like 1 hour a day?
Sometimes 1 hour a day, sometimes none. It's pretty much a lockdown, 23, 24-hour lockdowns. But hey, you got to make the best out of it. You could go crazy in there.
That's crazy, man.
You could be a drug addict there. You could be a crazy suicidal guy there, because you're stuck in a single cell like a dog in a kennel.
Yeah.
So you got two choices: get help, get right, do something about it, or stay stuck, be bitter, be miserable, use drugs.
But you did 5 years in there?
I did 5 years straight. Total of shoot time is
why?
7.
Because you got in trouble when they put you in there?
No, because my co-defendants kept me separatist, because they thought I was gonna, if I was put in any prison near my co-defendants, I was gonna hurt them.
Oh, okay.
They told on me, like 20 guys told on me. So they were thinking, you know, this guy's gonna do something to us, so keep him away from us.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is it just like a dark cell? You even get a window or anything?
On some of these, there's no window at all.
And it's dark in there, or you just get a light?
They got a light in there. They leave the light on something all day just to bug you. But they got guards pass by 1 hour, they check up on you, make sure you hang yourself or escape or try to escape. Yeah, it's
how was that, bro? Did it had to have fucked with you, like?
No.
No? You were peaceful there? You like to be alone?
Well, I like to be alone, but I liked that I was actually dealing with my issues. I started getting help right there, because I got on a journey of getting my mind right, because I didn't want to go to the yard or home crazier, you know, because I didn't want to go home with the mentality of I'm going to get revenge on people that did me dirty. I had to forgive everybody and let go of everything. And I had to go through a lot of work in that area. Because I was mad. I was mad at people because they told on me, and I was mad that I let these people into my circle, you know? So I had to work on myself. Yeah. Was there any more questions? I don't know if it was any more.
Oh, there'll be some more.
Yeah, so appreciate all you guys' questions and stuff. I mean,
how'd you end up getting the help in the SHU? Do you mean like you
called
read on your own, or is there counselors that come?
No, you can't. There's nothing in there. Everything there sucks, guys. Prison help, prison nurses, doctors, everything. I mean, not the nurses. I'm talking about the nurses, because my girl's a nurse. The whatchamacallit, the medical treatment there sucks. The counseling sucks. But I had to reach outside of the prison walls. I had to reach out to my family to connect with certain colleges that were good at what they did to come see me. That's how I got help. I hired some Christian psychologists that would come in and see me.
And they would come visit you, and you have to pay for that out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Your family paid.
Yeah, my family had to pay for it. Yeah. My family had to pay for it.
Do you think the prison doesn't really rehab people too much?
Nah.
It's just more punishment?
Punishment and money. You punish yourself when you're in there, because you punish yourself, because there's a lot of programs you could do for yourself. If you really want help, you could do something for yourself, but the system is meant to keep you in there, and the system is a business. It's not about rehabbing anybody, and people have it all wrong. All those years I was in there, I researched the whole crap, and I saw that the system is meant to keep you in there, and it's a business. It's a monopoly. It's a business to make people out here get money off you as a number. The private jails, the industry that provides supplies to the jail, they make money. The building is a big ass system it's a business. And if you want to be a victim of that crap, you just keep breaking the law, and you're gonna be a number. They're gonna use you. So, but if you get in there and you get your ass right and say, you know what, I'm not gonna I don't want to do this no more. Cause I don't come back to prison. I don't like people telling me what to do, telling me what to eat, when to eat, what time to wake up, what to wear, how to work for $26 an hour. Hell, I don't want to work for these bastards.
Crazy.
As to do time, they force you to work at 26, 27, I forget, cents an hour, man. So you're gonna make $30 a month working for them, and then you're gonna spend your money on buying their crap, their commissary. So you're gonna make nothing. And then your family has to send you money because you need to eat. The food they give you is crap, so you're gonna have to buy commissary. You gotta buy toothpaste, you gotta buy stuff. So honestly, it's a business. So I tell the guys in there, when I was doing classes in there, I was doing counseling classes, I'll tell the guys, look guys, don't be a crybaby, don't be blaming nobody, because you did it to yourself. Grow up on this place and get your ass right, and don't come back, because you did it to yourself. Don't be blaming nobody. If you don't want to come back, stop gangbanging, stop selling dope in the street, or selling dope in here, or using dope in here, gambling. Get it together. Don't cry, don't blame nobody. It's your fault. So you have a lot of different people in there with a different frame of mind, but yeah, I saw a lot of stuff in there too. You see a lot of crazy stuff in there, a lot of crazy stuff. So then, after my 16 years in there, I got home. 2017, I got home, and I started doing my ministry for mental health and working with everybody, not just first responders, but I went to start working in rehabs with people that were ex-gangsters, ex-drug addicts. I wanted help, and I started counseling those people in the churches, because I did start going to church, and I started working with people in churches, and I started working on people with traumas, because I specialize in the area of trauma too, with people with trauma.
So you started getting trained as a counselor.
While
you said you got a few certificates, right?
Yeah, I got
Or
certificates.
degrees?
I went to school. I went to different Bible colleges or different schools at ministries, and I went to the regular college for my addiction studies.
After you got out?
After I got out, and while I was in prison, yeah.
How is the schooling in prison?
It's correspondence for the most part.
Okay.
Corresponding, you have to send everything out to the colleges out there, or the different schools, basically. Yeah. So that's how it was, keeping myself busy in there, getting my act right. But since I've been home, I've been working on my programs. I do mental health, but I also teach physical fitness, boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, but I use it as a tool to help people with mental health also. So I mixed it, because a lot of people get into training martial arts or workouts, but they never deal with their unresolved rooted issues. They never do.
You think being physically fit and all that really helped you mentally while you were in there? Because you must have worked out a lot, right?
It don't help you mentally, because you're still going to be a crazy fool.
Okay.
You're just going to be in shape.
Okay.
And you might be a crazy good fighter, so you're not going to... You need to get to the root of your problems. That's one of the things people don't understand. Just because you're an athlete doesn't mean you're all there.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, somebody asked if I know anybody from the Hollywood shootout. As a matter of fact, I do. Good question. Who asked that question? I was working Rampart during that time, and I was in the academy shooting, practicing my shootout, and I heard the radio call come out. So me and my partner drove all the way to the Hollywood shootout, and when we got there, the last guy had just shot himself in the right here under the chin. He had just shot himself. So I arrived at the scene, and I got to see the bodies laid out everywhere. I got to take pictures. We had Polaroid cameras back then, so it was illegal, but I took pictures of all the dead bodies, and I saved the pictures, and I lent them to one of my buddies to show them off, and that guy, the old bastard, never gave them back to me. So those pictures, I had them, and I was there during the shootout. I missed the shootout, actually. I missed it right when I got there. The guy had just shot himself, and that was in '97. But I was there for the whole 12 hours crime scene to protect the whole crime scene, the casings, the guy's rifle. The guy that shot himself, what happened to him, I knew the cops that got shot too. But the guy that shot himself, the last guy, he had a barrel on his rifle and he didn't know how to remove the jam. So he could have shot some more cops and he know how to clear his gun being jammed up. But he shot himself instead. And they had armor all over his body. He shot himself by
accident?
No, on purpose. Because he ended up, he had a 9mm, started shooting at them because he dropped his rifle and he still had about a 100-round drum. But he hit a casing jam, so he couldn't fire no more. He didn't know how to clear it. Hey, you know how to clear it? He would have shot like 4 cops because they were not even able to cover themselves. And he was going towards them, but what he did is shot himself right here under the chin and killed himself. I got there when they're all bleeding out and everything. So yeah, I was there.
And when you were on the way over there, were you all pumped up?
I was fired up.
I want to shoot these guys.
Yeah, I wanted to shoot it out.
Like, I want to be the dude that shoots these motherfuckers.
Pretty much. That's why I was flying over there. Me and my partner were flying. From
Do a lot of cops think like that? You think like a lot?
No, they're scared.
A lot of them don't. They don't want that, right?
Once you get shot, you see bullets coming at you. You kind of lose fear of it. You kind of like it in a sense. I don't know. That happened to me at least. I mean, I'm not looking in for it no more because I'm not that guy no more. But back then, I was like, you just had to lose the fear of the bullets and all that stuff coming at you. Once you get hit, it's like you're like, oh, whatever, big deal. I mean, don't get me wrong. After the adrenaline wore out of my shootout when I got shot, my legs hurt. The bullet wounds went through both of my legs, and that thing did hurt. But then they hit me with morphine, and the pain went away. So I was like, shoot, that was quick.
Yeah.
So, you know.
What about the second shootout?
Was that
while you were on duty?
I was still working undercover. I was working undercover like the movie Training Day. And working his unit, like the movie Training Day, undercover narcotics, and the guy tried to shoot me with a shotgun, and I shot him. That one was so fast that I didn't even see it. It was just...
It was a drug deal?
No, it was a guy that was selling drugs, and he tried to shoot me.
Because he knew you were a cop, or was it just like random?
He was doing robberies. I mean, he was what I heard is he was selling drugs right there for the gangs, and he was also selling drugs and bullying the managers that he was going to shoot him if he told the cops on him. So he whatchamacallit, he was just about to sell some dope that day or something, and when we pulled up on him, he turned on me with a shotgun. So I ended up shooting him.
He pulled up like in a car.
No, he was high. He was in a laundry room counting.
So he tried to ambush you.
No, we caught him by surprise, and he turned on us.
Oh, okay.
He probably thought I don't know what he thought. I just know that when it happened, it was so fast that all you could do is react.
But you guys are in uniform and everything.
We were undercover.
So he didn't know
we
you
had
were
our badges.
cops?
We had our badges and everything out.
Okay.
So he knew. I'm sure he knew.
Okay.
We don't know the frame of mind because by the time he turned on it with a shotgun, it was on and cracking.
Yeah.
Somebody
he could have been just paranoid. He could have been whatever. But
yeah, it could have been just paranoid.
When the gun goes up, you have to shoot him. Right?
What are you most proud of doing during your career as an officer?
Thank you, Kat.
So, honestly, I'm proud of just... I helped a lot of people. I really enjoyed helping people that I was signed up to help. There was a lot of people in the department and victims, a lot of victims. I like helping the victims. I enjoyed helping the victims. I enjoyed dealing with the vicious, crazy criminals that would terrorize them and getting rid of them. And that to me was good because I felt that I was making their city, their area safe. I really liked doing it. I also like pretty much, I was not like unfair. I was fair with everybody. I'll help a gang member if they needed help too. I help anybody. So I guess that's that part of the job I enjoyed. Working with kids too, working with the youngsters. I enjoyed helping the youngsters too, steering them right. So those were good things, Kat. I can't say that medal didn't mean nothing to me because that medal could have been 20, but I was a shooter. I had to survive, so I got to go the what's it called that? The Medal of Valor for the shootout. I mean, my training kicked in, and thank God I survived it and I didn't get killed.
And that didn't help you in your case to have that medal? Like, it didn't help you in how long you want to keep going? You need it.
Here's a medal.
I know you got to wake up early. Here, let's show. You want to drive towards like Hollywood or something? Or you want to stick it?
That's my medal that I got. If you can see it. For my shootout. It's like a Medal of Valor.
Do you have to get into a shootout?
No, it's bravery. Saving people's lives or saving your own life. I don't know. It's bravery. I don't know what they call it. No, because I
just
think,
if you help someone, you do a brave act.
Yeah, like a brave act.
Line of duty.
Yep, we could leave like at 12:30, 11:30.
Whatever you. Yeah, he's got to wake up early. He's an early guy. So thanks for staying out late tonight.
12? Let's do 12. 12 is good. What's it took 12? Yeah, guys, I gotta get up early.
We'll drive through Chinatown.
You got an
circles.
I get up early because I gotta go train my students. Any more questions?
We got another one. Nani.
What's going on, Nani? What's the question?
Nani 14107. What can be done to stop the street takeovers and looting that is more commonplace now? Recent example: Ruben's Bakery that was attacked by a mob of 100 people. Great stream tonight. Hey, thank you.
That's a good question. You know what? It's unfortunate that the system is not working right now because our leaders out there are not doing anything about people violating these laws, and they're giving them. They're not strict anymore, so people aren't afraid of the system anymore. So they don't care about victimizing anybody. They don't care about who they hurt because they're not going to get punished. There's no punishment no more. They slap them on the wrist or they just release them. If they don't commit certain grave crimes, they're not really indicting anybody. So it's really the governor's fault here, Newsom.
The finer.
Our leaders here suck. I'm sorry, but our leaders in California, Newsom and what's that other guy, Gascon, whatever his name is, they're a bunch of dumbasses. And I'm being straight up with them because I don't like them. I don't like people that just there's no balance. You don't have a balance. You have to have a balance when you run the city and run the state. And they have no balance. They're just on one side. You can't let everybody get away with it. And the victims are like I said, there's a lot of victims out there. Like the owner of that Ruben's Bakery, he's a victim, but who's gonna take care of his damages or what happened to him?
Yeah, it's like the businesses where they don't enforce the law. When people go in there and steal all this stuff, like the corporations are going out of business. It's like getting out of control, you know.
And that's sad because
for a small business, imagine you have a small business, bro. You're barely making a couple grand a month.
Yeah. And
someone steals $10,000, $20,000 of your stuff.
In 1992, there was the riots, guys. I was around during that time. In the riots, 92, Ronnie King riots. What happened was they had martial law. They closed down the cities. You couldn't go anywhere by 10 o'clock. It was a curfew. You better be home, or they're gonna pull you over and they're gonna mess you up. They had the Coast Guard. They had it all.
I remember that. I was a kid.
So I was working for a company, and they would hire us to protect their businesses, and we're armed to protect the businesses. And these business owners were on the roof with the rifles, and anybody want to loot and break into the, they're going to shoot you. Back then, hey, it was open season, hunting season, and you want to break into the business, they're going to shoot you. The owners were taking action in Koreatown, and it was crazy. It was crazy, but you know what? Sometimes that's got to happen. You go into somebody's business like that and break into a business and you get shot, maybe it might scare people, it might deter these criminals. They're not respecting nobody no more. No respect. And it's the parents' fault too, though, guys. Blame the parents too, because they gotta slap the little kids around too sometimes. I mean it. They gotta discipline their kids. A lot of parents don't discipline their kids, and the kids got entitlement issues nowadays.
But don't you think there's a lot of kids out there too that just don't give a fuck? Just like how you were, like how you were in that mind state where you're like, but I don't give a fuck. There's a lot of young kids that are like that too. Like,
I wouldn't break the law. There's a different way. My mind frame was I was at an age where I was at the department. Yeah. But when I was growing up, I knew I knew what was wrong and bad, good and bad. I knew what was good and bad. I knew who I could avoid, or like I knew the gang members are knuckleheads. Are gonna do something. You gotta do something. But I knew not to go break into a store or rob an innocent business. Yeah. When I started doing robbing these drug dealers, I was hitting drug dealers. I thought they're not victims. I thought in my head, they're drug dealers. They're doing what they're doing. They don't have no law rules. I don't have rules. I'm gonna hit these dudes. So in my head, I was taking whatever I needed to take from them because it was a business. You know, it was different. It wasn't. It was a legitimate business. It was a dirty business. But again, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of stuff that's going on right now. We have to really do something about the kids too.
You think it's like there's not enough like rehab stuff, right? If they get in trouble too, they just get in trouble and then they get punished and that's it.
Slap in the wrist. Yeah.
But even if they do get punished, what happens after they go to jail? Like,
Nothing.
there's nobody to help, right?
Nobody.
You just got to figure it out on your own.
Well, actually, there's better programs now. I think there's a lot more programs. It's just people wanting to do programs, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't want to do programs because they have rules. There's a lot of kids, a lot of people. The other thing about things is people don't want to have accountability too. You know what that means, right?
Like
People don't want to be accountable.
The criminals?
The kids.
Yeah.
Well, the kids they do what they do, but they don't want to be accountable to it. They want to just take advantage of the opportunity, but they don't want to be accountable for it.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids they don't know what the consequences really are when they're that young too. Like even like the young gang members, like they glorify that shit, but they don't know what comes with that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You got to live with that shit. You shoot somebody, you kill someone, like you got to live with that shit. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a heavy burden to carry, bro.
But like the stuff that's going on with the running when they break into stores, what do they call that again?
The looting.
The looting,
mob looting or whatever.
Yeah, the mob looting. They know that there's no consequence. That's why they're doing it, because they know that they could get away with so much. So that's why it's bad, because there these rules where they could get away with it. They know how much they could get away with, so they're doing it. If they would just be stricter on these rules, they wouldn't be breaking into these businesses. And that's one of the problems. They're not strict, which sucks. Which, I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah, I see that a lot of those like mob looting things are kids. They're really young, you know, they're like 13 to like 18, 20 years old maybe.
Yeah, they are.
Even during the looting, that's how I got started doing this. I did cover the George Floyd riots when everyone was rioting. Everyone was kids. Like most of the looters, they were like 15.
Yeah.
They were a little older, like, into like maybe college age.
Because they know they're not going to get in trouble.
They were all young guys that were just like, fuck it, everything's free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get to get whatever I want.
So you guys have any questions about prison? There's a lot of prison questions that we haven't talked about. Like there's a lot of stuff in prison that people don't know about, and it's good.
That you could do a whole book on that, no?
Yeah.
What is the name of your book?
Oh man, I gotta get the name.
Get the name of the book, so maybe someone will buy it.
Let me see. I'll tell you right now.
And also sign up for the channel. The link's in the top. I don't know if Jessica put it. Let me see if I can put it in here. Here's a link to Ruben's Instagram. Follow him. He has is it your own training business, or you have like partners and stuff, or you do one-on-one
I do one-on-one. I do privates. I do groups. It's my buddy's gym, but I have I pay rent to train my students there.
Okay. So there's his Instagram right there. It's called otherlevel_coaching, right?
Yeah.
The link's right there in the chat. Jessica, thanks for posting it. And here's another one. I'll link the YouTube channel, because you really want to start the YouTube channel, no?
Yeah, I do.
That's the one you want to get big. Let's see. Copy link. I can put that in there for you.
It's called Redemption of an LAPD Rogue Cop.
Okay, it's called
Redemption of a LAPD Rogue Cop. It's gotta be in
it's on Amazon?
Amazon, yeah.
Is it? Okay, so if you guys search on Amazon, it's called Redemption of an LAPD Rogue Cop. And afterwards, I'll put the link in the description if anyone sees this in the future. Here's
Let me see.
Redemption of a LAPD Rogue Cop. Here's the... Alright, here's the channel. It's called the @RedeemedWarrior91. It's in the title, and that's his YouTube channel. You can click on it, and we got 100 subs. Let's see if we can get it to 200. Let's see. Let's see if I can pin this.
And the reason for that, my buddy that wrote the book is he's a evangelist. He's goes into prisons to talk to a lot of inmates. And he's a good guy. He's the one that wrote that book because a lot of inmates been reading it because it has a good story to help people also like focus on their mental health issues too. That's why the book is the short story. They're making I'm writing a bigger book of my whole life, but also there's some movie talk.
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, your story's so crazy it could easily be a movie.
Somebody asked that question. Oh, the desert van life? Are they right there, desert van life?
Yeah. He asked a few questions.
Do you regret your decision that led you to your conviction, and do you believe God used your journey for... Oh, good question, Desert. No, I don't regret it because, like you said, that's what God used to get my attention to save my life, and give me my attention to realize how I was jacked up and I need to get my mind right and everything, and just to see how lost I was, because of that arrest and everything else I went through. Now I found my purpose. My purpose is to really work with people with mental health, addictions, you name it. And there's a lot of people that actually want help, and I'm grateful that I have the tools and the training because I've been able to help a lot of people now. So if it wasn't for my journey and everything I went through, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't have the tools that I have now and the training that I have, the experience I have. So I don't regret my mistakes because my mistake led me to where I'm at. I learned a lot from them. I guess there's nothing I can say I can regret because my kids are good. Being away from them, yeah, that hurt all that, but I think about, I'm glad I was away from them too because I was in the mind state that I need to be as a dad during that time. So yeah, I'm thankful.
Yeah, there's no content on the channel yet, but
not yet.
There will be soon. That's what I'm saying. We got to try to build it up. So if you guys could subscribe to it, yeah. I put the link. It's pinned at the top of the chat, so you guys can just hit the link and subscribe, please.
What did they ask? They asked the question.
Sunnyside. With all due respect, but if special unit cops weren't corrupt, LA still have the crash gang units and Oakland PD task force, but rampant abuse led to disbanding of all these units that California needs? Question mark.
They still exist. The gang units still exist, but they're not called gang crash anymore. They still need them because they do need the gang units. They do need the narcotics units because we have a lot of gang problems and narcotics problems. They're still operating out there. They're operating in different names, but they're still doing the job that needs to be done to basically deal with the gang problem and the drug problem that we have out here. There's a bunch of new units out there that are dealing with the big fentanyl. There's a big fentanyl rise and a lot of fentanyl overdoses, and that's big right now, guys. So that's killing a lot of people. Fentanyl overdoses. They're dealing with a lot of task force now because they really want to try to stop that, curb it, because it's out of control. They're lacing cocaine, heroin with fentanyl. A lot of the drugs out there people are taking, they don't realize that it has fentanyl and it's killing them. So we're dealing with a lot of problems.
The fentanyl is crazy. Yeah, most of our problems are drug related, right?
Somebody asked if I boxed in the Police Olympics. I actually did. I won the gold medal for the Police Olympics in 1996. I think it was 96. Yeah, 1986. I won the gold medal for the Police Olympics in Long Beach. As a matter of fact, it was a fun fight.
How old are you then?
I was 26. Yeah, I got the gold medal for that one. Let me see if I can find a picture.
Oh, you used to train with De La Hoya too, right?
Yeah, I sparred with De La Hoya, Shane Mosley. I grew up sparring with those guys, and we're sparring partners for a long time. We had some good wars in the ring, fun matches.
But they were above your weight class?
They were above my weight class, but we sparred together a lot, and we went at it. It was fun. I enjoyed the fights, the sparring together. I'm trying to find the medal picture.
Were they still in your same age range, or were they like older?
No, Oscar was 2 years younger than me. I think Shane and I were about the same age. Yep, that was back.
What gym was that? Hey, LA Designs and Productions, thank you for becoming a member.
My age during that time was here's a gold medal. That's a gold medal That's the gold medal when I won for the Police Olympics. in 96 to gold medal. I was a young buck.
26?
26.
How long after that did you go to prison? How old were you when you actually went to prison?
31.
31? So
Yeah.
just 5 years after that.
Yeah.
Were you already doing like dirty stuff at that age? When
No,
you were boxing?
not yet,
You were
no.
still clean. This was before the shootout?
No, that was after the
this-
shootout.
After the
shootout.
first one, but before the second one?
Before the second shootout, yeah. Yeah.
Was there any more shootouts
That one, just that one.
on duty?
The on duty one.
And what's the process once you get in that shootout? And like, what do you do? Do they give you time off? You
They're
see
supposed
counseling?
to. Oh, so what happened is this is where they messed up in the first shootout. They didn't send me to a counselor or psychologist on my first shootout. They sent me back to work with fresh bullet wounds to do
shit.
patrol work instead of working, helping me out. Somebody asked a question.
Nick, you want to read it? How do current police officers treat you now after everything? Respect or not?
I have respect for a lot of them. They treat me with respect, but I get invited to do speaking engagements for their functions. So they hired me. Right now, I'm hired by this big company, Homefront Protection, who does seminars for cops, and I'm going to be doing seminars for them on mental health and the slippery slope, the tell signs that can detect the cop when they're going rogue or going to the dark side. So yeah, they hired me, and I get hired to do a lot of events with them. I mean, so far so good. If there's anybody that has any problem against me, they won't tell me. They probably talk behind my back, but I don't care. I'm not doing anything I'm helping them out. I'm just trying to help them out to build the department up again.
Were you ever in this place right here? This is a federal, right?
Yeah, I was here up at the top building. I was with
When you first got arrested, they put you here?
They put me up there, way up there. In the
That's when you're going to court, right? Like they hold you
Yeah,
there?
I was there. Yeah. Somebody else got a question. Check out Raul Reese. Oh yeah, I know who he is.
Raul Reese Ministries. Kelly61, thank you very much.
Yeah,
for that
I know
super chat.
Raul Reese. He's a good pastor. I'm working on trying to get into his church to do a program for PTSD also. I just talked to some people that know him, and my goal is to work with churches to build my mental health program with the churches too.
You think you had PTSD from your childhood too?
Yeah,
Like,
I did from my
growing
childhood.
up in that gang. Were you in a gang environment?
I was in an environment where I grew up with a lot of gangs. I had guns put to my head when I was a little kid.
How old are you in?
The young and getting shot at when I was young. I got guns put to my head when I was 17 years old. A shotgun to my head from some gang members who just tried to. Then robberies, put guns to me to rob me. That happened a lot. I get shot at because you live in the wrong block and you're just walking mind your own business. You see dead people around you because people kill each other in the blocks. So yeah, that messes with your head too.
But you think it made you more angry instead of like
more
making you scared? It turned you harder, no?
Yeah, I mean more harder, more angry. So I was always like a little vigilante in my own mind. I like to be ready because you're brought around violence, so it makes you either overcome it and not be a victim of it, or people could be victims of it.
Yeah. Some people get scared and they just want to hide it, right?
Yeah, you can't live like that.
And other people are like, no, well,
you're not gonna.
You want to talk violence? Then I know that language too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Anyone could do violence.
Yeah, anybody can. Yeah. You want to be peaceful, but you can't be peaceful with crazy people.
So what are you planning to do with your channel? Like, what are your goals?
My goals are to first educate people on mental health and what mental health is, PTSD, different signs, and then resources. Besides resources, also give them tools how to start working on themselves, what steps to take if they really want help, and also understand the process, because a lot of people don't give up in the middle of the process because they don't know the process. They give up or they feel discouraged because they're still going through stuff. Sometimes it could be a long journey to get healed from mental health, from trauma. It could have been somebody that got abused, molested. A lot of guys that I talked to also got molested and they don't want to talk about it, and they have jacked up issues in areas that people aren't aware of. Only they're aware of it, and when they reach out to me, I start working with them. But a lot of them are damaged from just that alone, and it's caused them to spiral into drugs, other stuff.
Yeah.
And then they're
Hardcore trauma, bro. That
Hardcore
they don't
trauma.
deal with, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could only put that shit aside for so long.
yeah, you can only suppress it for so long. You're gonna creep up.
Shoo, thank you for that super chat. What's your take on the Miami mall situation?
Oh, with the shooting?
I think there was like a alien sighting or something at the Miami mall.
Which one was that one? Because I heard it was a shooting too. Was that one?
Was it a shooting or the? I don't know. They were saying there was like an alien on the side of the mall or something. I don't know what you mean, Shoo. Cat Harvey, thank you very much for that super chat. Thanks, Cat.
What did that one say?
What do the majority of officers tell you about how they feel about being cops in this day and age? So much disrespect, and I don't know how they do it. Not like when I grew up.
Well, honestly, the truth is, a lot of cops I talk to are disappointed with their job. They don't want to be cops anymore, and now they're just like scared to be cops. They see the disrespect. They see the way the system is turning against them, and the way that people don't respect them anymore. A lot of them are trying to just survive their job and get their paycheck, and they're not trying to get involved in stuff that's going to get them in trouble. They say they can't do their job like they used to do before. The cameras, the phones, there's so much crap going on.
They're under a microscope, and they can't make mistakes at all now, right? Like, do they always have to have the cameras on now? Certain departments, or they get to turn them on?
They all have to have cameras. Somebody in Miami, it was a bunch of kids fighting, but they had fireworks. But the people were panicking.
I seen there was a bunch of cops near a mall or something, but I thought it was like they said they seen some weird lights, and people were saying it was like, I don't know, maybe that's separate.
Someone said, did LAPD have a push to hire people from the? They actually didn't have a push. They were actually trying to hire diverse community. They were trying to hire diverse community officers, because I think they wanted to. Because if after the Ronnie King stuff, they thought there was maybe too much whites in the department, not enough Latinos, and they did want like people from the hood. Like they weren't saying it, but there was like let's hire more
people from their own community to that resemble the community, right?
Yes.
Like even in Koreatown, it was like they hired Koreans.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, people would be more. They thought it would be more people would be open to talking to cops instead of there's all these outsiders coming into the neighborhood and like just coming and busting ass and like, you know what I mean?
Yep. They never lived in that. They don't know their environment, their culture. So they did want that, and they wanted women too. They weren't hiring. They were trying to hire a lot of women during that time in the 90s. They were trying to hire more blacks, more Mexicans, Hispanics overall, and that was the main thing, as many diverse people as they could. But because they were having a lot of problems, and it is difficult to be in the community where you have no clue what their culture is. Someone
just asked Island Boy, what about the cop suicide situation?
Oh yeah, that's big time right now. The sheriff's department especially, because they had a hiring freeze. They weren't hiring a lot of people, so they were giving these guys a lot of overtime. And from what I hear, because I trained some deputies, I trained a lot of deputies in martial arts and fitness, and they told me that a lot of them are working so much overtime that they're just overworking them, and that's kind of draining them. And the stress on the job, it's really like stress of the management. It's not even
You think the cops are overmanaged because of all the...
They're overworked, and they're not even treated right. If they try to say, hey, you know what, I need some time off, even their supervisor will give them crap for it. So they're having trouble with that too.
When you seen all the bad stuff on the job, did that get to you too, or?
Nah, it didn't get to me. I think I was used to that, growing up around that stuff. That stuff didn't faze me, guys. I grew up around it, so to me it was no big deal. I got more mad at the police department management, and I wasn't really finished talking about that. Management itself, I think I was just talking to you about it, huh? So, one thing about the police department, guys, is the job is fun, but you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're getting into. What sucks about the job is sometimes when you're working for some jacked up bosses who if your chief, your commander, your captain, they have no street experience, they never worked the field, and all they did is promote, because they went to school, they got the degrees, and they promote it, but they don't know how to work the field, they don't know what the field looks like, and they don't know how to manage their own people. They're going to be, they call them pencil pushers, and what they do a lot of times is micromanage, and they just put pressure on the officers, and they make the job difficult for the officers. They stress the officers out because all they're thinking about liability. So then the officers are like walking that little fine line. They're afraid to make decisions and they're going to get in trouble, or they're going to lose their job because of micromanagement. That turns more officers into making mistakes because now they're stressing out. So having dumb ass leaders really sucks. You have to have leaders that have worked the field, that have experience, that are going to protect their officers and help their officers, but also understand them. And then at least there's a balance, because you're going to be able to work with the community and you're going to be able to work with the police department. And some leaders don't do that. And that's what caused a lot of problems. In the 90s, when I was a cop, we had some jacked up chiefs. And our chiefs were knuckleheads. They were causing problems in the department, and they were turning the department against each other. The morale was bad. This is in the 90s. Now, I don't know how it is now.
What do you think about the drug situations? That's pretty much our biggest problem. Like, how do we fix all these people on the street addicted to drugs? You think that they need to be harder on them, enforce the law, put them in jail, put them in a... You heard of that care court thing? That
doesn't work.
Care court? Have you heard of that?
I haven't heard that one. What's that one about?
It's supposed to be like they're going to be tougher on the people out on the streets. Like if they find them with drugs, they're going to make them go through that and make them force them to go through programs, or else they go to real jail.
Well, they help them. If they help them get to programs, that's good. They need to get some programs. But there's a lot of programs right now, but a lot of people don't want to use the programs. That's what sucks. It's individual. Individual has to want help. And we do have a lot of people that don't want the help, and they want to prefer to just keep using drugs. But harsher programs is not going to help. Now, force programs might deter people to want to use drugs. But reality is, the guys that are using drugs, they use drugs because they need help. They have some issues. They're running from something. And honestly,
they have to want the help.
They have to want the help.
You said it right. He helps people, and he said that.
I counsel people with drug problems. And I was telling Hugo that there's some dudes out there that just don't want help, and you can't help them if they don't want help. Unfortunately, you can't.
What are the 3 phases you said? Like goes through?
Contemplation, pre-contemplation. There's 3 phases, guys. I know. Maybe you guys know about it, but in school addiction studies, they tell you this. The person that says, I'm not ready, or I'm thinking about it, and then the person that says, I don't want to get help, I don't want help, I like my dope. The guy that says, I'm ready, I want help, that's the phase where you want that person, because he really actually wants help. He's going to take the steps to get help. The guy that just like straight up doesn't care, why would I even waste my time on that person? The guy that's still in the middle, contemplating it, I still can't help that guy because he still hasn't taken that step. You're still wasting your time on that person because he's still in the middle, right in the fence. It's got to be at the place where the person says, all right, I'm ready. I can't deal with this crap no more. I need some help. Because I counsel people with drug problems, and I'm only going to help you if you want help. I'm not going to waste my time on a person that doesn't want help, because you're wasting your time. They don't want help. But what the hell are you doing with that person? Let him fall on his face. And I've been with a lot of people like that. In prison, you run into a lot of crazy people that don't want help or want it, and you know who's who. That's my point. I know who's who. How's the drug situation in prison? It's the same. It's the same, guys. You can get anything you want in prison, like you get on the street. You want a cell phone, you got it. You want some dope, you got it. You want some alcohol, you got it. It's in prison. Remember I told you the guy that came down the river? This is where they pulled him out, right here. Oh, right there? All the way from Highland Park, bro. Dang. He came down the river. That's from Highland Park, dude, Avenue like 54 or something, in the 110 right there. Wow. Got carried by the current. Miracle, bro. Miracle he survived. We're going back home. Yeah. You want to? Yeah. 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 What time do you want to cut it? Soon? We'll cut it at 12. Well, on the way over there. All right. We'll go towards this direction. Yeah. Yeah, so that the prison problem, and the prison problem too is a lot of people are scared. Politics, prison politics. They got to run with the race. You show up to prison, and they're gonna your race is gonna swoop up on you. And hey, what are you? You're white? Come on, white boy, Peckerwood. If you're black, come over here. If you're Mexican, come over here. If you're Sureño, get over here. So pretty much you gotta run with your people.
So there's no way to avoid that at all.
There's ways to avoid it.
Like you can't say like, "Hey, I'm not involved with this.
You
I'm
could-
just doing my programs. I'm trying to stay
Some
straight
yards,
and get out of here."
You could try to sell it. Some yards, if you tell them, "Hey, I'm gonna run by myself," they might allow it. Some yards won't allow it. And in the feds, at least where I was at, they won't allow it. Sometimes they will allow it. But I remember a yard where I was at, and the guy said, I'm from New Mexico, but I'm running by myself." They go, "No, you're not." And he goes, "Yeah, I am." So they beat him up. They beat him up in the yard. They beat him up in the yard till they put him in the shoe because he wanted to run by himself. He was a older guy. He didn't want to run with his people. And they tried to force him to do it, and because he wouldn't buckle, they beat him up. They beat him up like 2 or 3 times. He wouldn't give up. Yeah, but if you try to run by yourself, you got to be smart how to handle yourself in there.
What started you down the path of crime? Do you think you just
So with
greedy?
me,
Like you wanted the money?
with me,
You
it
felt
wasn't-
like you were underpaid as a cop?
No, it wasn't that. The department pissed me off, guys. See, I got really mad at the department, and after being with Rampart crash, what happened, I was mad, and I just said, I got tired of being putting in the work in the department, and I wasn't being a victim either. I was just being an ass, man. Once you get mad, there's people get mad at different stages in their life, and once you get mad at a certain point, you blow a fuse. And I was at that point where I blew a fuse. I said, you know what? I said, you know what? F this job. I ain't gonna be a cop no more. I'm gonna go get rich, make money off these dudes. Why am I gonna put my life on the line every day and get my ass in shooting and shot for chump change in a sense? Because I'm saying these dope dealers making $1 million a month, extorting and doing this and that, moving dope. I said, well, I'm just gonna go rob them. That's what I said. And honestly, I was, like I said, during that time, I was in a different place in my mind, and my way of handling stuff was violence and revenge. I didn't know anything else. I didn't care to know anything else. That's what led me to that step. I made that step. I made the decision, and I took the step to do it.
So you're like, I'm gonna go and make it worth it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Like, I'm only do things that's worth the risk.
It's worth the risk, yeah. I'm putting my life on the line on this job for this jump change. Even though the department salary they don't pay that much, and really they should pay more because you are putting your life on the line all the time. But you're paying your bills, and you know what you got paid. You sign up for to get paid, so you can't be crying about it if you sign up for that.
What about the day you got busted? Did you feel like
I was numb.
did something feel weird about the day, or you was just a regular day? Like,
It was just
you feel like you dropped your guard?
I was,
like,
I dropped my guard.
Like you got too confident, right? Or like
I was actually high that day. I was smoking weed. I was smoking weed, and I was drinking alcohol that day. So that day I dropped my guard because I've been smoking some weed the whole night, and drank a whole bottle of wine. And that night I was still like, in the morning when I was still gonna go do this, I was still high on weed and alcohol. So I was still kind of numb, and I was thinking in my head, should I go meet this dude or not? And in my own mind I was thinking, should I go meet this guy? And that was my mistake. I listened to either way I was still gonna get busted because the guy's still gonna snitch on me, so it didn't matter.
So you think even if they didn't get busted, they would have?
Oh, Pruno, tell us a Pruno or prison ramen tamale recipe. The prison tamale recipes are good. As a matter of fact, I just did a tamale recipe for my kids. So tamale recipe, you get the bag of chips, you crush them, the tostada chips into Doritos, you mix them up, You crush them real tight, real fine, and then you put boiling, really hot water. You crush them into the masa. Once you make the masa, you get your paper. How are you gonna wrap them? You get creative, and you get your plastic bags, of course. You stretch out your plastic bag, cut them into squares. You put your real piece of masa. You smash it into a flat tortilla size. You put the meat, whatever you're gonna flavor it with, the meat. Roll it up into tamale. You make your batch of tamale. You put it in the microwave. That's how you do your prison tamales. And believe me, they come out good. I'm gonna make some pretty soon.
What kind of meat? Canned meat? Like,
You get sausage. You get right there. They have pork, carnitas. They have in packages. You have cheese. You have the cheese. You have jalapenos. Sometimes you gotta steal. Your people steal the meat from the kitchen too. Sometimes.
can you get good stuff? Like
You can get good stuff from the kitchen,
Can you
guys.
get outside food? Through like a lot
Sometimes.
of people pay the guards to give them.
Sometimes
Like,
you get outside
give me a
food.
Western bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah, those times you get outside
They
food.
gotta pay.
You get outside food sometimes.
Oh, nice.
What question is that?
Nani, say thank you, Nani. Anonymous.
Oh, what do you think of lowering of LAPD hiring standards? The physical. Oh, it's going away. Do it again. Yeah, it's fine. I got my glasses on. Qualified. The physical fitness qualifier used to have at least 50% meeting of sports. No, it's 30. I think that by them lowering the standards is a bad idea. Because honestly, we need to hire people that are actually mentally, physically fit, and they gotta do a better background check on a lot of people, because then they're gonna skate to the wrong people are gonna skate to the cracks. A lot of people that are getting hired also are very naive. They don't have a clue what they're doing in the street because they don't have no street smart. I also think that a lot of the guys in the department need to get hired, but they need to be taught what is the culture of other people, because a lot of people don't know the culture. Let me see. The minimum score to get into the academy now it's 30% or as low as 10.
For physical?
The physical fitness is 30%, 50% minimum.
Well, they're having trouble hiring cops, right?
Yeah,
people
that's
don't
the
want to
sad
be
part.
cops anymore.
A lot of people don't want to be cops anymore. Anonymous?
Anani? Yeah, it's like anonymous. I think.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to be cops anymore.
14107.
It's unfortunate, you know, that.
Thank you for that super chat, by the way. Big super
Yeah,
chat.
thank you.
$50. Thank you.
So a lot of
Thank
people
you guys,
don't
everyone.
want to be cops anymore, and that's what sucks.
Why do you think cops are held to a higher standard now? They can't make mistakes. There's a lot of liability.
Well,
Or
first they're
also they
desperate.
get treated bad
They're
too.
desperate. The departments are desperate to hire, so they're gonna do that stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of times, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that that don't want to be a cop, but then there's people that still want to, but they're the wrong people. That's what sucks. It's the wrong people that want to be cops. They're hiring the wrong people that want to be cops, because other people that couldn't get hired before because the standards are being lowered, now they're hiring it because they're like, hell yeah, I still want to be a cop. We don't care, which sucks.
Yeah, and a lot of cops don't last. They do it only a couple of years and then they quit. You know.
No, they don't, which sucks. Yeah. So, any last question before we break off, guys? I'm gonna be cutting it pretty soon. Any more questions?
Yeah, let's go. Last questions here. Type them in.
You can pull over anywhere.
We'll pull over right here.
That way we can answer
Just
the
gotta-
questions.
Any questions, you guys? Or you can answer those questions right there in the chat, bro.
Let me see. Physical.
Let me put this all front. Load here, maybe. Oops.
Why don't they want to be cops, man? A lot because they see how things are going in the department, David. A lot of people that are seeing how the cops are being treated, and how the system turned against cops. So people don't want to be cops anymore. They're not allowed to do their job anymore. And I'm not saying. And then there is a lot of cops that are being hired that are really, like I said, don't even know how to fight, or don't even know what they're talking about or doing. They're making a lot of dumb mistakes because they're panicking. Let's go. Shoot. Let me see. What's it say? Physically strong, morally straight, and mentally awake. What's the...
Oh, this is the police
Boy
department of
Scouts.
Huntington Park, no? Or what is it? Vernon? Oh, Huntington Park.
Where you kill burritos. What? Show him where you kill burritos. Huh?
I think you're saying where I get burritos.
Hiring too many diversity hires. Age of 18.
We got another paid one right here. Cat RV, thank you.
Thank you both for tonight. It was honestly riveting. Ruben, thank you for sharing so much of yourself. We all thank you, Kat. We appreciate your support too, everybody, and your questions. We appreciate your questions, everybody. There's good cops and bad cops. There is good cops and bad cops. There is not all cops are actually bad guys. There's a lot of really good cops that meanwhile they try to do a good job, but the department is it's difficult for them. They do need help. They need prayers too, and they need counseling. They're getting beat up out there. They don't start bad. Honestly, I didn't start bad. A lot of cops don't start bad. They meanwhile they want to do good. Things do happen, and they don't get help, and they suppress, and then they blow a fuse. They end up messing up and becoming addicts on something, and they mess up. They're human beings.
Everybody. That's our whole society.
Our society's like that, but we just
that
put
problem. The mental health.
Yeah,
issue,
we just
right? That
even
people
the
are under
military.
so much stress.
Look at the soldiers, and a lot of cops actually were soldiers too, and then they joined the department, and then they're really jacked up. I thank you, Mr. Luke again. Appreciate it.
Make it brighter.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys sign up to the channel. The link's in the top. Jessica, if you can put it in again. Sign up to the Instagram.
Yeah.
If you want to tell them any other social media, anything. Actually, the name of your business, it goes. You only have the Instagram, huh? Or do you have a website too?
The Instagram right now, because I had an old website. I haven't used it anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm building everything up again.
So other level _ coaching, right?
Yeah.
At other level _ coaching on Instagram.
Yeah. If you guys want to go train, it's available, privates and groups. I'm
And where is
expert in Santa Fe Springs. I'm an expert in boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and fitness, self-defense, guys.
Do you ever go do like personal stuff too? Go to people's houses?
I do that, yeah. Mobile training.
Yeah.
I do all that.
And over there in the gym, you guys do one-on-one mostly, or classes, or both?
You guys could drop in, guys, at the gym. It's called Elite Pro Boxing Santa Fe Springs. What gym does he teach at? And can people drop in? Yeah, you could drop in. Looks like a ball. Did you ever
definitely follow the Instagram, right? And they should email you or DM you right there.
Yeah, DM me at the Instagram, yeah.
So you could actually train with him, right? Because
Yeah,
you're
you can
just
train
one
with
of
me.
the trainers in the gym. You're not actually like the owner of the gym, right? You're
I'm
like
the coach.
independent.
I'm independent, guys. I
Yeah.
run my own programs. I got my own thing going on.
So yeah, so contact him through Instagram.
Yeah. Reach
Unless
out
you
to
have
me.
an email. Do you have an email?
My email, right? Yeah, do I even know?
Or you just go to Instagram.
Yeah, go
Instagram's
to
the best.
Instagram.
You can contact, send a direct message. Also, sign up to that YouTube channel in the chat, the Redeemed Warrior 91
Yeah.
YouTube. Let's see how many people signed up before we go.
And I'll start putting content pretty soon. I'm gonna start my content this week.
Yeah, and I'll show you. Like, I'll help you. You know,
Yeah.
if you need any help. Let's see. There better be like 500 new subs. Warrior 91.
Thank you, Kat.
You can just type at
Thank you,
Redeemed
Mr.
Warrior
Juan.
91 too. Well, 129 subs.
That's good.
It went up like 100 something. Let's see if we can get it up 200. Oops. Let me just park right here.
To incident 43
And then if you want to do a part 2, we can do part 2 another day, guys.
Yeah, guys.
Thanks everybody for the donations, the questions. Thanks for participating.
Yeah, we appreciate everything, guys.
And sign up to his channel, man. It's our If you want some training, make sure you go to the Instagram. Yeah. And you got people working on a movie script?
Yeah, they
In your
are.
life?
Yeah, they are.
Your book? Oh, what was the name of your book again? Rogue Cop?
Redemption of a
Rogue Cop. Rogue LAPD?
LAPD Rogue Cop.
And that's only available on Amazon?
Right now it's on Amazon. I normally could get them
Redemption
of LAPD Rogue Cop.
LAPD Rogue Cop. Let's see. I'll see if I can put the link on there. Book by Rueben Palomares. Google Books.
A lot of stuff happened in prison, but with long stories.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, if you guys want to check it out, this is what it's called. You can go to Amazon. Redemption of a LAPD Rogue Cop. And they could just buy it from there?
Yeah, it's $8.
$8.
And you're supporting a prison ministry.
And it's written by you in the ministry, or?
My buddy Rayford Johnson wrote it for me, but he supports. He's got a prison ministry, so you're supporting a prison ministry that he has.
So you guys like share the profits and stuff?
No,
You don't get nothing?
I don't get nothing.
See? It all goes to the ministry.
Yeah, I don't get nothing on that. When I write my own book, I'm gonna do my thing.
I think you definitely have enough to write a book, bro.
Yeah,
Especially all the involvement with the Rampart stuff too, I'm sure.
yeah,
Everyone always wants to know about prison and corruption, you know?
yeah. Of course, there's a lot of stuff.
Oh, look, someone ordered the book, they said.
Alright, cool.
Julie M.
Awesome.
It's not on Amazon Australia. Well, I don't know how you can go around it. I think if you change your IP address or something to trick it that you're in the US, you could order it. Is it available on eBay, maybe? Maybe someone has a used
E-books,
copy?
yes, eBay. Oh, just give us the info. You can send it to her. I can send it to her. Tell her to
Not
send
in
you the
Amazon
info.
Australia?
Tell her to send you the info, and we can send it to her.
Yeah, you can, why don't you just go send it directly to Ruben's Instagram.
Yeah, and I'll send you.
And you could probably just PayPal him and he'll send you the book.
Yeah.
Shipped direct. All right, it's getting late, no?
Yeah.
These are midnights.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This is... It's pretty dark in here. This is Ruben.
Hey, guys.
Thank him for his time and his story.
Appreciate it.
And we'll see you guys next time. And hopefully we could do a part 2. You down to do a part 2?
I'm down for a part 2, guys. Be ready for your questions.
But make sure you sub up to his channel, man. Help him out. And he's trying to do good things. And right?
Yep.
Live a redeemed life.
Trying to help some people out.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.